heritage, which dates back over 10,000 years. So we center accessibility. So just so everybody's on the same page. Intersectionality is a concept that we use throughout everything that we do. We use a for us, by us approach, which means you can't have disability without it being led and managed through people with disabilities. You can't have a Black-led organization or anything Black without it being Black. So in our case, to do disability work for Black Canadians, you must be a person of disabilities and Black. Today's webinar has closed captioning, and it also has ASL interpretation. As you can see, it's spotlighted to probably the right of your screen. And I'd like to introduce Dean and Kirsty, who are doing the interpretation for us today. And we're so grateful for having you here today. Take breaks and breaths when you need to. And the slideshow will be shared after the event. We have the flyer, which is on our website if you need that electronically. Everything will be shared with you, so you don't have to worry too much about taking notes. And there'll be other sessions and things to show you more specifically if you need help. Thank you. So our format is the microphones and the cameras will be disabled during the presentations. And feel free to use the chat and the Q&A function if you can see it there at the bottom of your screen on Zoom for any questions or comments you want to make. And webinar will be audio and video recorded and available on our YouTube channel. So I'm looking forward to meeting people through this experience and also welcoming the Assistant Deputy Minister, Andrew Brown, soon to our company here. Next, so that is our agenda. We have the honor of Associate Deputy Minister Andrew Brown from Employment and Social Developments Canada to do a welcome from the government who is supporting our initiatives. We'll do a brief on Ashe community, NCAM, and Kaminda. We'll talk about the focus and the ideas behind the Black Hub era, and Kaminda will walk you through the hub. And then we'll just follow up with a few next steps, and that will be it for our evening. So my understanding is the Associate Deputy Minister Andrew Brown is here. Yes, great. So employment and social development, he's in employment and social development, but let me tell you who Andrew is. And one of the first things I want to say is Andrew is the first deputy minister in the federal government who's Black. And that is a big deal. And congratulations. And we commend you for all the hard work and the dedication you have done outside of the government and inside the government at the same time. We know it's complex, and we appreciate you being here this evening. To tell you a little bit more about him, he was appointed the Associate Deputy Minister of Employment and Social Development in February 2023. That's why we're super excited by having you here tonight. Prior to his appointment, he worked at Employment and Social Development Canada in 2014, all the way up till now on employment insurance policies, pandemic benefit policies, labor issues, and most recently, he was the Senior Assistant Deputy Minister responsible for skills and employment programming, which is at the heart of Black people with disabilities concerns. Earlier in his career, Andrew worked as the advisor at the Privacy Council Office, files related to Canada-United States border from 2012 to 2014, and on citizenship, immigration, and refugee programs in Canada and abroad. He holds a Bachelor of Science with honors from Queen's University and a doctorate in physics from the University of Alberta. And I went to the University of Calgary, so I'm very interested in learning more about that. So I would love and really welcome you and thank you for making the time to come with us this evening on our journey.
Well, thank you very much. I hope that you can hear me okay. And I do want to also just maybe supplement one piece of that where you said that I was the first Black deputy minister in the federal government. I'm actually the first Black male to be appointed as a deputy minister in the federal government. And there are currently 3 Black female deputy ministers in the federal government. And I think it's important for people to know that, because we are seeing change, and those are all women who were appointed in the last 3 years. So it really is a pleasure to join you this evening. I'm joining you from the unceded ancestral and traditional lands of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people. As you heard, I'm Andrew Brown, and I'm an Associate Deputy Minister at Employment and Social Development Canada. As you've heard already, at sea, I'm Black, and my pronouns are he, him. I'm honored and grateful to be here this evening to say a few words at the launch of the Oshae Community Foundation's Black Accessibility Knowledge Hub. For those who may not be aware, this hub is Canada's first ever all-encompassing Black-centered accessibility hub. In my department, we work to improve the standard of living and quality of life for people in Canada. We're a federal department responsible for social supports, programming to help people get ready for employment, as well as promoting fair and healthy workplaces. And I'm keenly aware that program design and service delivery can affect persons with disabilities, and that disability considerations need to be embedded from the start. On any given day, my colleagues and I face several policy questions, tough ones where we need solid evidence and data to inform our analysis. Grassroots organizations, other levels of government, and both Black and disability community organizations face similar challenges. Your hub will provide much needed, culturally relevant, and intersectional data for some of the policy questions that we collectively face. It will also support Black Canadians with disabilities in finding services and accessing information that's important to them and will help to empower them. I can't overstate the importance of understanding intersectional experiences, how multiple identities affect lived experience, including gender, race, culture, and location. According to Oshae's report on the intersection of Blackness and disability in Canada, Black people with disabilities have multiple identities where they may experience multiple forms of discrimination, and as a result require specialized and culturally responsive supports. With an intersectional analysis, we see that anti-Black racism, ableism, along with other gender biases, that this population is at an even higher risk of experiencing health, poverty, unemployment, and underemployment, and overall exclusion from participating fully in the Canadian economy. And we need to reflect this experience in our policy considerations so we can make informed and inclusive decisions. So organizations like Oshae are important partners to do this collective work. Your leadership to increase understanding and bridge the knowledge gap on the intersectional experiences of Black Canadians with disabilities is very important. Your expertise in translating that knowledge into inclusive and culturally responsive services is critical. We look forward to continuing our partnership on this important work and to ensuring that the perspective of Black persons with disabilities continue to inform our work in the spirit of nothing about us without us. Thank you again for having me at this important event. Merci beaucoup. I wish you every success.
Thank you. Thank you. I don't know where my face is, but lost my face. Uh-oh. Oh. There I am. Thank you very much, Deputy Minister. Thank you for the clarification. I did know it was man, and I guess I forgot. And I want to say is that we look for, everybody always asks those questions about progress. How do we keep going? Things like that. Well, we just keep going. And we celebrate where we've been, we celebrate where we are, and we celebrate where we're going. And one of the things that Ashay will point out all the critical issues and use them as policy papers or to inform. But the other thing we do is we come with solutions. And this is one of those solutions. So thank you so much. We didn't have planned for this, but I'm not sure if you want to take any question, a quick question. If not, we can move on with our program. It's up to you. Wasn't the plan.
Well, maybe we'll let you continue with the planned program, so it's not to ensure there's enough time for the presentations that you've got scheduled.
Okay, great. All right, great. Well, we'll just wait for the PowerPoint to come back. Thank you so much.
Okay, you're very welcome. Thanks.
And for people who don't know me, my name is Lisa Arneson, and I'm the founder and chair of the board of directors at Ashay. I'm also have a consulting business for over 20 years, and I'm on leave as an educator and a senior administrator at a university. Next slide, please. Some of you have been through this before, but we just want to remind people, and you can check this out on our website, which will be changing soon. But what does Ashay mean? If we have any Nigerians that speak Yoruba, they will know. It's like an affirmation. It's the ability to manifest something into existence. It's the essence of that capacity. And we believe that we can manifest everything that Deputy Minister Andrew Brown said. We're going to manifest it. It's going to happen. And people who are Black with disabilities, it's going to be conversations in the Black community. It's going to be conversations in the disability community. We will no longer be invisible on the sides. And Ashay, the logo is Andika, and it is a logo, it looks like a fern because it's this idea of endurance, strength, resourcefulness, which is what we are as persons with disabilities, who we are as Black people, who we are as women, who we are from any community we belong to. People have this in them. Next slide. So what are our truths? I don't know if there's any Jamaicans in the room, but we Likubat with Talewa means that we are a mighty army, and there's only a few of us actually. And of all the work that you see, it's done primarily by volunteers and our full-time staff, which is INCAM, who is in the background there with the bright red shirt beside Senator Wanda Bernard. And just to note, this is a picture of them with Senator Bernard at the Senate hearing on Bill C-22, which is a new benefit for persons with disabilities, and making the comment about the importance of intersectionality and how important certain things would be for Black Canadians with disabilities. So thank you for those who do their work as well. Bernard is the director of community on the board, and Janelle is the writer of that report that Mr. Andrew Brown cited. It is also the assistant, is also the assistant chair, and is one of the founding members. Who we are, our purpose is rooted in the forest bias principle we've already said, but we believe in centering our voices, our lived experiences, and our boundless talents to manifest change. So we believe in doing this together. We use collective wisdom, cross-movement solidarity, and boundless talents that we identify and dismantle those structural and societal inequities that keep perpetuating the stigmas and adverse things that affect Black people with disabilities. We also look at our vision. Simply said, we envision Black people with disabilities fully engaged and thriving in an equitable society that embraces our unique talents and empowers our success. That's what we're about. That's what we believe, and that's what's going to happen. We do disrupt disparities at the intersection of Blackness and disability. We driving a cultural shift, which again was mentioned in the welcome from the Employment and Social Development, Mr. Brown. And we cultivate access for all through education and awareness. We do collect collaborative networks. Everything we do is a partnership one way or the other. And we want to anchor everything we do in this national education and resource hub. So all the information we learn, all the expertise, the people that know stuff, it goes there. So we don't just have to keep phoning people to say, do you know of any research in? It should be there. These are our strategies for the next 5 years, the Black Accessibility Hub. So we're at the first stage, the research policy. We have lots of research and policy work that we're doing, kind of mentioned a little bit. We are working on a collective knowledge sharing platform for Black persons with disabilities. And then there'll be sections inside. One is the student coalition we have already, and one will be for Black entrepreneurs with disabilities. We have youth and student development. We work, again, very thankful for Employment and Social Development for the amount of students and resources they provide to us to accommodate them, because we prioritize hiring students with disabilities. And so our whole program is set that way, and they host an annual summit. And then we have education awareness, which is our real knowledge series, all kinds of other things that we do to bring awareness to the issues around. So these are some of the examples. I'm not going to talk through them, but you'll get the idea that we have other things happening. We have an Empowered Her Connect Fellowship, which is about mentoring gender diverse and girls and women who are Black with disabilities by similar communities. And then there's other things we're doing as well. We'll keep moving along. So let's talk about the Black Accessibility Hub. It is everything that was already previously said by the Associate Deputy Minister, and it is Canada's ever all-encompassing Black-centered accessibility hub. And actually, we believe from some research other people have done that it is the only one that exists, even in the States. There isn't another one. So this might be more innovative, but it didn't seem very innovative. We needed a spot to put resources so we didn't have to keep calling around on Facebook and WhatsApp. Focused on Black people with disabilities. And it's confidential, fully accessible, and it is free. So I'm going to pass it over to Incam, who's going to talk to you about our journey to the Black Hub. Thank you, Incam.
Hi, folks. Thank you so much for coming out today. I'm so excited to see so many people who are interested, passionate about this work. So our journey to the Black Hub, I identify as a Black person with disabilities. I am also queer, non-binary, and as well as myriad of other intersections. And kind of like Liz had spoken about before, as I was coming to terms with my own disability within adulthood, I found it was so hard to find resources, supports, service providers that really spoke to my experience as a Black person with disabilities. We have our family and our friends that we can share experience with, but even that has its own limitations. So I always kind of felt a bit isolated, feeling like maybe I'm the only person experiencing this. But through our work at ASHE, throughout my own personal connections, I've learned that a lot of other Black folks with disabilities are feeling the same way. Maybe feeling isolated, feeling like maybe not knowing where to turn to, where to get these resources and information. So I feel like over the past 3 years, we've worked really hard to cultivate and build a community where we can share these resources with one another. But still, there's really that need for that centralized place that we can go, that you can say, oh, you have this, you're looking for this diagnosis, you're looking for where you can get this grant, go to this website. This will house all the information. And, we've seen hubs similar to this in the past, maybe around disability, maybe around Blackness. But again, really nothing specifically there for us as Black people with disabilities. And it's one of those things that at a certain point, we just had to create it ourselves. So I'm really excited that you folks all are here. And we'll talk a little bit about what it was like to develop the Black Hub. So everything about this hub was really informed by the experiences of Black people with disabilities, our families, our partners, our caregivers, and more importantly, designed by Black women with disabilities, going back to that for us bias approach. We really want to bridge the structural gaps and address the barriers that we face and get Black focused, culturally relevant disability resources. We know that within our community, many of us are diagnosed later. There's a stigma around disability within the Black community, or we try to go and get resources and we face anti-Black racism. So we really want a hub that would start to address some of these, real life experiences that we're facing, so that we can collectively, better our own livelihoods. Thank you. So in terms of the Black Hub and the community impact, we really want to foster a dynamic sense of community, facilitate knowledge sharing, and encourage connections and partnerships across communities. When I first heard about the hub was actually when I first applied for a Shea Community Foundation, and it was one of the reasons that I really wanted to work here, because it's something that's really exciting for me and something that from event to event, from platform to platform that we host, it seems like it's the thing that's most that our community members are most excited for. We're hoping that the information that's found on this hub will really work to continue to inform the research, policy, and practice that is shared nationwide. And again, as you said before, we're really looking to build, or we did build, a one-stop shop hub where you can come and find all the resources that you need to support yourself as a Black person with disabilities or a loved one in your community. I'm going to throw it off to Kaminda, our community projects coordinator, to talk a little bit more about what exactly entails in our Black Hub.
Thank you so much, Nkem and Liz, and thank you, Deputy Minister Brown, for joining us. My name is Kaminda. Like Nkem mentioned, I'm the community project coordinator. Thank you everybody for joining us to learn about the hub. I'm really excited. This has been a fun project to work on. So now we're gonna get to the fun part, and we're gonna introduce and launch the, the long-awaited Black Hub. So we essentially created three sort of sections in the hub to address some of the needs that we identified for folks. First and foremost, we wanted to ensure that folks would be able to search the hub and access it for free. So anybody who is looking for resources or services is able to do so at no cost at all, and they're also able to search it at any time. So the main sections include a service directory. In the service directory, this is where we house information of professionals, practitioners, business owners, even physicians who provide services to Black folks living with disabilities. We also have our disability resources section where individuals or communities can access any resources that they need, from government funding to information about employment. They're all housed in the disability resources section. And of course, we also have our knowledge catalog. And our knowledge catalog is where our research and policy is housed. Just as Liz mentioned, there's a lot of work that Ashay has done in research and policy. And we also want to highlight and provide access to the work of other folks at the intersections of Blackness and disability. And this is where all this information will be housed in the knowledge catalog. And so we couldn't have done this project without our web developer, Era Abraham, who will be joining us. We'll be taking on these next few slides in tandem. And I'm gonna bring on Era just to introduce herself briefly, and then we'll go into some of the details of the hub. So Era is the CEO of Blackness Incorporated. Era is a disability consultant and she's a technology consultant as well. And she has been the brains behind the technological components of the hub. Era, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I'm so happy to be here, and I appreciate this opportunity to talk about some of the work that I've been doing behind the scenes with the SHA team. The reason why I was very interested in this project was because, as many of you might know, that 98% of the internet today, with the top 100 web pages, are inaccessible. And that essentially means that it's very hard for many people to get the information, to find the information that they are looking for, to be able to understand what the information that they have, and then to be able to take that information and use it to their advantage. And so this is why I'm here to tell you that I created the infrastructure to help the SHA team with the development. So I would like to start by just sort of launching the website, and we can go into detail, but I would certainly welcome all of you to follow along with the internet. We provide the URL to get directly to the hub, and we're going to give you an opportunity to follow along with us as we talk about some of the certain aspects that Kaminda had mentioned earlier, the 3 sections of the hub. And we'll give you some time in case you guys need to, but the URL, we just have in case somebody needs me to say it orally, but it's https tinyurl.com, and tiny is URL is spelled tinyurl.com/black and capital BLA small c capital K / capital HUB. And I see that so many of you in the chat are getting on, and it's great. Thank you very much for that. Hopefully you can see, and if you need any help, the team will be able to help you get to that link in the chat. Great, awesome, good to see. All right, so the first component of the hub is the service directory. And the service directory is really about, we've heard mentioned before, it gives you information that you can find, whether it's organizations from various disciplines to help with your various needs. Now, I'm going to think this is probably an opportunity for me to share my slides, but I will love to share the actual service directory to the audience right now, so you can see some of the features that we are looking at. Thank you. All right, so here you can, hopefully you can see my screen. Okay, perfect. This is the home page, and so the first of the top menu is the service directory. So when you go into the service directory, we have a landing page which highlights some images that are reflective of the diversity of our community, and some of these examples of service directories that we have available and on the directory. So every form or every page of the directory has a search form, and the SHA team had mentioned that there are certain categories that people within the community will find valuable when it comes to searching. So we often look at whether it's location, I mentioned different service providers, whether it's accommodation, we have medical physicians, it could be wellness and nutrition, and really getting close to those or services that know how to tailor to people with disabilities. And the other thing we do focus on is different abilities. So if you have a hearing loss like myself, or you have some physical disability, we also have a search term that enables you to specifically find information in those categories. Now, we understand that as people with disability, we often find ourselves in situations where whether we have disability benefits or health insurance, or we end up needing to pay out of pocket for these services. But it's nice to have an opportunity and a way that we can search and tailor to the information, as well as we have specialty and whether it's youth, children, seniors, LGBTQ, women, and family. Okay, great. So I'm just going to take in, sorry, I'm just taking a little bit of pause here just to see if everything is good and everybody okay. Okay, great. So anyways, as I was mentioning, we will go back and to look at some other directories and sections as well. But just to know that we have provided a whole opportunity. And I wanted to be able to highlight later on what it's like from a user perspective, but also for somebody who is a service provider who wants to submit to the hub. Great. So I'll stop sharing and then we can go over to the next. Slide here. Perfect.
So Era just led us through the service directory, which, as I mentioned earlier, is one section of the hub. Again, we offer free access for everybody. And this is where we host the information of businesses, professionals, and community organizations. As Liz mentioned at the beginning of our presentations, all the work that we do at ASHE is led with a for us and by us philosophy. So that means that we are aiming to highlight professionals and businesses, community organizations that are Black-led and support Black people with disabilities. So as Era showed you in the service directory, you're able to search for listings by the particular disability focus, the location, the billing, and the specialty of the service that you are looking for. So in particular, we took the time to ensure that we had certain filters. Sorry, and Kevin, if you could go back to the previous slide. We had particular filters so that depending on the focus of disability that you're looking for, you can search. For example, we have a section for chronic disease and illness or diverse learning, and you can find listings corresponding to your needs. Location, as Liz mentioned, we're the first Canada-wide virtual hub led by and for Black people with disabilities. So folks will be able to search for services within their province or across the country. We even decided to put in the opportunity for people to look for billing. So depending on how folks offer their services, whether it's free or a sliding scale, you can filter down to that as well. And of course, a specialty. Liz also mentioned intersectionality. So we wanted to ensure that folks are able to find services at the intersections that they live at. So again, this is what Era showed us. This is what the hub looks like. And this is what the filters that I just mentioned look like. So you can search, you can either enter a keyword. So say you want mental health support or you want to find a therapist. In the top left there, you can just enter therapist and listings will come up. Or you can be more specific with your search. You can search by the disability focus, the location, the categories. As you can see here, our extensive list of categories, all the way from accommodation specialists, educational supports, even faith leaders, and wellness and nutrition as well, in the billing, of course. So that's the service directory, and we'll just take a few moments, maybe if folks have any questions, and we'll take just a few breaths before we go back to Era to share with us our next section of the hub. And folks, feel free to enter your questions in the chat or in the Q&A section of the Zoom at the bottom. It should be in the bottom bar, and it looks like two little text boxes together, overlaid together, and it says Q&A. Okay. As people are continuing to think about any questions, we'll talk about our next section of the hub, which is the disability resources section. So in this section, we're hosting our disability related resources, toolkits, and websites. And this is where folks will be able to access government financial resources, benefits, and grants, sort of to facilitate folks to manage their own disability accommodations and journey and find the resources that they need that match their particular journey. And again, we've made this section searchable as well for folks to filter, really to find what they need for themselves. So we have a resource category. So if folks are looking for accommodations, so for example, if you want to find accommodations in the workplace, or if you need a toolkit to find out how to manage your particular disability, you can filter that as well. Different formats. So the information will come in different formats, whether a Word document, a PDF, a website link. We also have opportunity for folks to upload videos or audio resources as well. And again, the focus remains on Blackness and disability. So we want folks to be able to access the resource that they need at the intersections that they live at. And yeah, just to support their journey. So we'll keep going. And Era will actually show us some of the resources that we have put on the website so far.
Yes. Great, thank you. So I'll go back to sharing my screen again. And we will now go to the next tab on the menu called the Disability Resources. And in the Disability Resources, we open up with the visuals, again, Black folks with disabilities, and also women and students and young youth in various situations. And one of the things I should mention, if anybody has a screen reader or any other devices that help with audio transcription of the website, I would certainly love to let you know that we do have the alt tag in the images for you to get a visual sense as well. But if there's any issues that you have, please do let the ASHA team know, because we certainly would love to always improve on our content. So as I was going to say, we're at the disability resources. And one example, so again, like I mentioned before, you can always search in the top bar of every section of the hub. And for example, we can look at the categories we have provided. We also have certain formats. And this is something that the ASHA team had mentioned, was that many people with disabilities have preferences for certain documents over others. And so we always encourage the opportunity for people to search with specific needs. And then we also go into the focus again. And so, for example, if you were to look at the accommodation, which we have a example of a resource that's been provided, it's very simple information where you can get the description, you get the title of the content, and then it goes right down into the actual being able to access the document or the website. So it depends on who is the submitter and what they have provided, but we always make it noted what it is, if we have a website link or what kind of document it is, so you can access that. In this case, this is a website that will lead you to some information on A to Z listings by disability. So yeah, so I'll pass it back over to Kaminda.
Fantastic. Thank you, Era. And I'll just take some time to answer some of the questions that have come in the Q&A. Thank you, everybody, for the folks who have asked some questions. And Liz has provided some typed up responses. But in case folks can't see, somebody has asked, how does the hub determine which resources have a focus on the Black experience of those with disabilities? Is it vetted by AI or person? So a lot of the work that Era's done in the back end is done by AI, but we still have to go in and review. So there's a process for submission, and we'll share that a little later on in the presentation. But for example, if somebody wanted to submit their service, it goes into the back end of our website, and then we have to go in and review. So we're able to see whatever resources they provide, whether it's a website or if it's a PDF, we'll go through and we'll see if it actually has a focus on Blackness and disability. And then if it does, we will go ahead and publish it on the website. And if it doesn't, unfortunately, we're not able to share it with folks. So that's how that process is going to work. And somebody has asked if it's possible to recommend additional disability focuses, mentioning also that neurological tends to be overlooked many times. And this is fantastic. Thank you so much. This is exactly why we focus on community-based approaches, because we need to get feedback from folks in regards to what is needed. So absolutely, we remain open to feedback, and we'll definitely be adding that into our disability focus.
That's great.
And we'll go on to the next section. We'll share about the knowledge catalog and answer a few more questions. So now on to our knowledge catalog. This is the third section of the hub. And in the knowledge catalog, like I mentioned earlier, we'll be hosting research findings, policy papers, reports, even conference proceedings and educational materials, again, that address the intersections of Blackness and disability and gender as well. Again, we'll be able to search through various filters, including a knowledge category, a format, type, and a focus. And I'll just share some examples here in the next slide. So some of our knowledge categories include our own ASHE catalog. This catalog will have all the information, the research and policy work that ASHE has done will be housed in a separate section. We'll also have our research, so whether it be papers, dissertations, thesis projects done by folks, and policy as well. And of course, again, we'll be able to offer this in different formats. So whether video, whether PowerPoint or PDF, folks will be able to search through that as well. And it's important to also have different types of knowledge from different stakeholders. So from community-based organizations, academic institutions, from governments as well. Definitely important to have that variety. And again, the focus will always remain. If there's one thing you're going to know about ASHE after tonight, it's the focus on Blackness and disability. So information will be able to be filtered, looking at different focuses, again, of course, including Blackness, disability, even issues affecting youth or the TWIS LGBTQ+ community, and even issues addressing health and wellness for folks. So I'll just pass it right back on to Era to show us live what the knowledge catalog looks like.
Great, thank you. So I'm going to start sharing again. So let me get back to where we were. 1 second. Great. So now we're going to go to the third tab on the menu, which is called the Knowledge Catalog. And in the Knowledge Catalog, again, the same format and design as the other two sections. We again have the different search functions that you mentioned earlier, but I want to point particularly to an example of a resource. So here is the search. We did research, and we have a particular resource, for example. And what I wanted to, you'll probably notice that the format is very similar to that of the disability resource, and we keep them sort of different from the service directory. The service directory gives much more functionality, which we'll definitely show later, but it does give you an ability to, for example, to send email to service provider directly and have a communication, initial communication right from our website. So the goal with the knowledge catalog is really to provide you the resources that you need, specifically focusing on the title, the description, what the focus is, and the format. And I also, like mentioned, people were wondering earlier about whether the resources have a focus on Black experiences. We also like to add the fact that people with disabilities, whether they're somebody who's Black or somebody with a disability, may be submitting to the hub. And so it's good to know where these resources and who the authors are behind the scenes. And so we do identify that as well, because that may also help with some decision making in terms of what you're reading and how you sense the trustworthiness of these resources. Yeah, so I'll hand it back to Kaminda.
Thank you, Era. So that's actually one of my favorite features of the knowledge catalog, is that you're not able just to see the author, but you're also able to know, are they Black? Are they a person living with a disability? Because we know what it means for folks to be represented in the work that's disseminated, right? So definitely love that feature as well. And I just have a couple more slides just showing you again what the knowledge catalog looks like. So again, we have how to search. Again, you can search either keywords, look for a category, choose a different format. You can choose the type of information that you're looking for, and you can choose the focus as well. And just to address a few more questions, thank you folks so much. I love the engagement and then I love the curiosity here. So let me address some of the questions that have come in the Q&A. So somebody has asked, when will the directory be populated and made available? So we've begun a little bit with populating some information. So there are some resources available in the hub, but we need your help. This is going to be a constant work to ensure that the hub is always up to date and includes information. So we're working diligently with our community partners over the summer to ensure that we have a comprehensive list of resources and services available for folks. But we definitely welcome everybody to share any resources that they are aware of. If you are a service provider, please feel free to share your information. We'll definitely give an opportunity for folks to share that as well. Let's see, another question. Is there an eligibility criteria for service providers or Black accessibility recruiters to register to the hub? How do you assess Black professionals and their services? Absolutely, there is an eligibility criteria. Like I mentioned before, we'll go through a little bit how to submit to the hub and what that criteria is. But again, for folks who want to submit their information to particularly the service directory, once you enter your information, so your name, your business name, give us your website, we definitely go through a vetting process. We have a look through your information and see whether truly you're committed to supporting Black folks with disabilities. So there definitely is a vetting process. Another question. Oh, I love this question. Does the platform's accessibility features offer a language translation? I love that. And I think I'll ask Era to answer that question for us because she would give us the technological answer for that. But at this time, we don't have language interpretation. And maybe Era, you can let us know what would that look like for the hub to have that feature?
Yeah, I think it would require, like from a technical standpoint, it's certainly doable. And we've seen how many websites out on the internet that have multi-language capabilities and features. It's something that, like I think would be a good thing to talk to the team about in terms of what are the opportunities for. This certain, whether we use certain, which languages do we choose, if we, and whether we do the national languages, the French and English, and ASL, or it could be other languages that we can bring into play. But it's something you can be happening. And I think there's, I think one of the things we should be mindful is when we are launching a technology, and it's the start, there's a roadmap, and over time, there's new features that come into play. And so certainly it's definitely something to consider. And I hope that the SHA team will create opportunities to collect some of your insights and ideas, and then have an internal discussion about whether this is something that we can pursue. Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Era. And that brings us to the sharing of our three main sections of our hub. So please remember, we have a service directory where folks can provide a listing of their services offered to Black folks with disabilities. We also have disability resources for folks to access any resources that they may need for their for managing their journey. And we have our knowledge catalog, which houses various types of knowledge in different formats for folks to access as well. And we'll just talk briefly now on how to submit. A lot of folks have been asking how to submit, what's the criteria, and we'll talk a little bit about that now. Okay, so here we go. How do we submit a listing to the Black hub? So again, we're really welcoming folks to submit their information to the hub. Again, there is a eligibility criteria, but assuming that you meet the criteria, you actually be able to create an account. So this will be actually very useful to allow you to come and create multiple listings. So say, for example, you're a young researcher like Janelle, who's on our hub, who's really great with writing some of our policies. Sorry, I meant Janelle Anderson, who's on the SHA board. So Janelle would be able to create an account at the Black Accessibility Knowledge Hub and upload her information, upload a paper that she's written, And not just one, but two. And Janelle would be able to see once she submits a listing, she can see whether or not it has been approved or not. So she will receive a status report, whether it's pending or whether it's been approved. And in her account, it'll make history of all the submissions that she's made. And again, of course, we are looking for folks who have a service to support community members at the intersections of both Blackness and disability. And this is what our submission page looks like. So you're able to either create an account, set up your account, or if once you've already set up your account, you're able to sign back in and just use your email address or your username and a secure password. So once you go to our sign in page, there's certain information that you'll be asked to input, like your name, the name of your business, the type of service you provide, and maybe Era will take it back to you to show folks what the submission page looks like.
Great. So, yes, I'll do that right now. And so what I'm going to do is go into, because I'm going to be logged in as a person named Jane Doe, for this is the demonstration. Jane will actually, when she set up an account, will land into this, what we call the profile page. And in the profile page, there's really the 4 tabs, but initially when you start, you're going to only see submit to the hub, to the Black Hub, and more information. But as you submit, you'll start to see your catalog and resource listing and your service listing. So in the knowledge catalog, for example, I can show you first of all the service directory, because I've seen a lot of question related to submission in the service directory and what it would look like. And I think it would be really nice to show what it looks like, what the layout of it at first. So if you are a service provider, you can submit, and as Kaminda had mentioned, there's a form that provides all your details and specifics. And these are the details that will allow somebody to see in the front end. So you start to see some of the criteria and the search form that we talked about earlier in the actual form. And that's how people get to understand what, or select or filter is the best word to use, the specific document that they're looking for. And so as we scroll down, there's obviously other fields that are kept private, but that's also the process for how the ASHE team look to vet and understand who is the author of the document. So whether you provide your professional and educational credential, the disability focus, your business number, and again, the billing information as well. We, again, talked about the specialties. And then we also, because there is opportunities for some people to submit images, if you do have an attachment of an image, we do have a field that you can just sort of describe the image if there's any. And then your location details and contact details are all available here on the form. Then again, you can upload your image here. If you have a video, many service providers do have videos that they like to share, a little clip. And again, I want to bring back to the point, as a service provider, you're also encouraging the movement of having more accessible content on the internet. So we do appreciate all your uploaded videos to have closed captioning, any attachments that you have, whether it's a PDF, to be in an accessible format. And the ASHE team can certainly help you in navigating those criteria as well, if you need some help on that. But it's really important that we do make sure that all the content that you submit is equally accessible so people can see at the end when it's displayed in the front end of the website. So this is the form, and I want to go back to the area where, for example, somebody who has a service listing, and this is, again, Jane Doe had created a not alive because this is examples of different companies and submissions, so they're not exactly up front, but this is something that you would see as a viewer who has seen a service, for example. And in the case of, this is just to provide links to the website, the the address, and in the top right, I'm trying to get my left and right direction here, but on the right-hand side, on the bottom, you can see the contact the listing owner. And where you saw on the form, the ability for somebody to submit their contact detail, this is an opportunity for a viewer who may happen to be on the website, who is interested in engaging with the service provider. They can email directly from this website with the initial contact, and then you can take take the conversation offline into your email in your message box. Yeah, great. And then there's one thing I missed in terms of finances. So again, we will need to, I think I'm mistaken. I've forgotten to talk about it, Kaminda, right? Yeah, sorry. So there was just, I think there was a part on the form about finances. And again, that just goes back to the billing section that we were talking about earlier, where you can assess whether you are providing, whether you offer invoicing, whether you provide insurance or any kind of payment structure that you have within your organization. Yeah, and this is one example of the service directory, but going back, we have 3 different forms. So we have the knowledge catalog, which is different, but again, it provides all the details that you would see in the front end that we saw shortly, which is the title of your resource, the description of your resource, whether your submission provides knowledge of intersectionality, you can provide that answer for us. There is an opportunity to select the different categories that you think is applicable. Again, if you feel that there's a certain category that is not seen there, but you feel it's really important to articulate, provide that feedback to the ASHE team, and we'll definitely look into that. We were also able to provide focus. And so again, focus was Blackness, disability, youth, children. We saw that all these information on the search form earlier. And then we have types. So depending on the whether you're a government, an academic institution, community-based or conferences, and your website. Provide any, if you have a website link for the document, or you have a simple document that you want to upload. So either way, we provide both ways. And then keywords. I think keywords are very helpful when people are searching to know what they're looking for. The other thing that I want to mention is here are the details of the author. So we, like, for example, author's name, your service institution and organization name and contact information. All of these are shown publicly. So just be mindful of not sharing any private contact details if you do not want the public to see. But this is information here specifically in the forms are shown to the public. Your account profile and what you fill out in your account is kept privately within the ASHE team in the back end. And I will stop. I hope that gives you an overview. If there's any questions, certainly be happy to answer. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Era. And I just want to, I know we've been going for a bit. I just want to do a quick share to see what Era just shared looks like on a user end. So if you're looking for some of these resources, I will share my screen quickly. So for the service directory, again, like Era had shared before, you can filter by category, and on the listing page, you can see True to Soul Network. And this is what it'll look like as a user. So you can contact the listing or the listing owner directly through our website. Shout out to Era for doing that. Or you can link out to their website to find more information. So there'll be a quick description, this information that Era just showed, as well as in the submission. What's seen on the side of the submitter can also be seen on the side of the user. And then for resources, again, we can use government credits and benefits as an example. Let's say you want to learn for more information around the Canada Pension Plan. You'll find a little bit of information on our website about it, as well as you'll be able to click on the website to be able to see the website for more information. And I'll show version as well for if we're looking to download, let's say PDF that you're looking to read, let's say on our knowledge catalog. Let's say you want to read a little bit more about our capacity building research project. You'll see some of the authors here. The description of the project, the focus, and then you'll be able, yeah, thanks so much.
Thank you.
And I'll bring the slides back up. Or Kaminda, did you want to go through some of the questions before I reshare?
Sure, I can go through a couple of the questions before I pass it back to Liz. So somebody has asked if this session will be recorded and if slides will be shared. Again, just wanted to let everybody know that yes, we are recording currently and the slides will be shared with folks after this session. Somebody has also asked, and this would be a great question for Liz and Era, maybe this would be a great future direction for us. Is this Knowledge Hub primarily digital, or can folks call in with questions and wayfinding support, e.g. as a helpline? And maybe I'll give it to Liz to give us to give us this answer.
That's a great question. And it's something at the beginning of thinking about this, like ASHA's been around over 4 years. We've been thinking about this as persons with disabilities. And one of the first things we thought is a physical hub. People can come and ask questions. And then we realized we're not able to even find resources to pay people to even do the work that we're doing. Like I said, the resources we've received for this was $45,000 in total. And that's not a lot to keep an organization going, getting ideas, paying for things, and sorting through community, and that pays for somebody to do some of that work as well. So we just didn't have enough money to be able to house. I love the idea. It might be something we put into a proposal. We send it to, I don't know if he's still here, Deputy Minister Andrew Brown, and say, you know, this can create jobs. And at the same time, somebody will have a person they can speak to, can look for it as well, because we know that can be uncomfortable. But we will be sharing the link and have already shared it with the city, the 311s, the Kids Helpline, the Assault Women's Hotline is here tonight. So we'll be sharing our resources with them as well. But that's a great question.
So again, as I mentioned, folks, you're able to start populating the hub today. So we'll just make sure that this link goes into the chat, and we'll be happy to start reviewing your submissions as early as this week. If you'd like to access directly the hub, you can go through the process of submitting. You can create an account on the hub today. It's available for you. If you're having any trouble, you can also email us at blackhub@ashaycommunityfoundation.com, and we'll ensure that we give you the support that you need to bring your listing through. Thank you. And as Liz mentioned, this is just the beginning phases of the hub. We have a bigger, wider vision for the Black Hub. Firstly, again, I'll reiterate, populating the Black Hub. So we're looking forward to folks submitting their information. We will be engaging in partnership initiatives just so we can understand kind of what are the gaps in resources and services, and ensure that we're able to address those gaps, if not by finding service providers or community members, by doing research to address what those gaps are. We will be relaunching our website. So in addition to the hub, we will revamp our existing website as well to ensure we have more accessibility features and we're up to date with the work that we're doing. We also want to enhance the user experience, and this is why we would really greatly appreciate for folks to try to start accessing the hub. There might still be some bugs. We're still in the early launching phase, so it would be great if folks are able to start trying to navigate the hub, and do let us know if you come across any bugs. Maybe you can't access a link, or you get to a dead web page. Please feel free to let us know. And of course, again, we're exploring innovative accessibility technology and web features. Somebody has suggested maybe interpretation into a different language, and our web developer Ara is the AI whiz. So she will be supporting us in discussing kind of what those new features will look like going forward. And I'll pass it back to Liz.
So the first thing I want to do is thank Ara, Kaminda, NCAM, and myself for pulling this all together. And it has been a journey, and our apologies to Ara. But it has been a journey, and I think everybody agrees in the comments that this is amazing. So thank you, Ara, for teaching us and walking us through what we need to know. Thank you, Kaminda, for joining on and just taking charge. And NCAM is always the glue that keeps us together. And we all know I'm the pushy one. So I want to say thank you. I also wanted, before we have upcoming meetings, but before we get to upcoming meetings, I'd like Ara to come back for a moment, please, on the screen. If you can bring us up on the screen. So Ara, and pin Ara, one of the things I've learned about the work you're doing, I find extremely interesting, but I know nothing about.
Yeah.
And some of your last presentation, like in London, just give us a few minutes, please, of what you do and what your priorities and your core interests are.
Yeah, I am somebody who graduated from my degree at McGill many, many years ago, and very been passionate about technology. And the thing about technology, throughout my experience, is that it hasn't been inclusive to people with disability. And I see technology as an enabler for people with disabilities to get better access to information, to be able to live better lives and good quality of lives. And that's my mission, essentially, is to find projects like yourself and other projects to really push forward in the digital economy. And so I have created my business Listening. I started with an app using artificial intelligence to help people who are deaf and hard of hearing with sound awareness. So using artificial AI. And from there on, I've been a thought leader in this space, because when I started my business, there wasn't a lot of conversation around AI and people with disability. And it was quite concerning for an individual like myself, because we've gone through so much challenges with the website and how the internet had not been accessible. And I always wanted to make sure that the next round of technology that we advance, it really is also accessible from the start. And so why I like to do projects like this, because it's all about getting people with various disabilities from the beginning, seeing how we can co-create, and definitely look for opportunities where we all, not just the team, the ASHA team, but you and the audience, to come together, and we can really build platforms as a community. It's not an individual and organizational effort, I believe, in the sense that we all have our unique skill set to contribute to really enhance the technology. So that's really what I do. Came back from London and did some speaking there to the public safety sector. That was a big concern of AI being used in the, which is a whole other topic that I can ramble on for, but I'm hoping there's some few technology enthusiasts in the audience who understand my passion. So thank you.
Thank you, Ara. And the last thing is, can you tell us how you were able to make our website accessible?
Yeah, so there's many things that there's some basic features and programming that we can utilize to make the website accessible. There are tools and resources. And what I do is I look to make sure that we follow certain guidelines. As I mentioned about alternative text, it's really a basic feature that many websites do not have. I also look at whether we have features to enable people who want to increase the font. So your web browser, many people are not aware, do have some settings and features that are enables people who have preferences, whether large fonts, whether they want a dark mode and color in terms of your technology and device. And I think it's really important that websites can mirror those features that for people's preferences. So we match those preferences with this website. So if you do make some settings on your Chrome feature, you'll definitely be able to make that on your, you'll definitely see the ASHE website accommodate to those changes. So yeah, so that's how and there's many other, I don't want to get too technical in the behind scene, but there is many accessible features, and the reality is we're always learning. There's always other people and individuals that can contribute and let us know. And so we won't say it's 100% accessible, but at least we're working toward that goal. And so it's where you guys come in and give us your insight, and we can make those amendment improvements. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Era. I did not
Yeah.
want to end off as we end tonight and not have people know who you are.
Thank you.
And they will meet more of Caminda and NCAM as we move on, but thank you again. We're not done, yay. We have our web launch happening as well. And of course, we're looking at what is the next phase of this. So all your input would be really important to us. So I'll go on to the next slide then. Thank you, Era. Are you, oh, and you're, oh, never mind. So we do have an annual general meeting. It's June the 3rd for those who'd want to come and hear who we are and what we do. And our statement and everything will be available on our website. And there's the scan to come in. We have research projects, and one of the research projects that we're still taking participants in is the Black Youth Diverse Learners Research Project. So it's really a mapping project. So NCAM can speak more to this if people are interested, but overall, we're doing a research project with the Center for Diverse Learners, ACA, which is out in Hamilton, they're all in Hamilton, Halton region, and ASHE, and we're looking particularly at the experiences of Black youth diverse learners from 16 to 30. Some are unemployed, employed, in school, out of school, in high school, and we've hired 6 Black youth peer researchers from those categories and train them. And also we have additional people as well doing a photo voice project. I'll let you ask questions at the end to NCAM if you like. So if you live in the Hamilton Halton region and you fit in those categories, please give us a shout. So we want to thank you. Again, there's our information. The other thing we want to encourage, this is a free service, and we want to keep it that way. So we're always open to donations or people wanting to partner to help us with it as well. We do have a partner right now, and NCAM, if you'd like to speak on that at the end and how that works. We're looking for partners to help us do the work and to maintain it and do that work. And then, of course, we have a newsletter that we put out every month and sometimes every other month, as we do have disabilities, and you'll see everything new that we're doing or opportunities to participate in other research projects. Or if you have something you'd like to share, please, please let us know.
Yeah, I just wanted to add kind of to that partnerships piece. Again, we really are we really go by disability justice model, where we know that this work is collective. So we will be partnering with Salbona Afrocentric Circle Support, who will also be one of the service providers that we will be listing underneath the hub, who particularly work with parents of Black youth with disabilities. But again, we know that you all have expertise within your own personal lived experiences, the places that you work as well. So please reach out to us at either at Connect or at Black Hub at ashaycommunityfoundation.com if you're interested in partnering with us on this hub. If you have resources to share, if you have other hubs that we can link to, really want to make this like a network across Canada, and like Kaminda and Liz and everyone has shared here before, we can't do this work without you.
Thank you. And if this is the last slide,
Yes, so I'll stop sharing.
no, and we have two interpreters. I want to thank Dean and Kirsty. If you could please thank you. Show us how to say thank you in sign language, please. Thank you. And I have one thing we missed since we're so digital. We forgot to describe ourselves. So my apologies. But I am a light-skinned Black woman, hair is cut on longer on one side, short on the other, purple glasses, usually wear a scarf, and I'll leave NCAM and Kaminda to describe themselves.
I can go. Yes, I am dark-skinned Black person. I have an Afro puff that's put up in pineapple today, and I used to wear a headscarf, but I'm not today. And I'm wearing a blue, light blue and a little bit dark blue striped button-up with my partner's gold ring.
And I'm also a dark-skinned Black person. I'm wearing dark-rimmed glasses. My headscarf is pink and black, and I have some shorter length locks sticking out of my headscarf, and I'm wearing some silver chains.
Thank you. Thank you all very much for being here. I still see questions and stuff. I don't know if we want to continue answering them, but I'll let you know that we're open to ideas 100%. We're open for changes. We're open for feature changes. We're open for people who maybe think they can enhance it. Maybe it's a business you do and you think there's something else you can do to make this easier for us. You know, whatever. If you'd like to be a partner and take on a part of, you know, if you're a Black business community organization and you want to take on the part of the service part, we're happy to negotiate. This belongs to our community. This is community focused, community run. And I'm really proud of this moment. It feels great to have something, you know, that we've been dealing with, not just alone being a person with disabilities, but being Black constantly. I want my child to be assessed rather than the school. So I need a psychologist, but we don't know any Black psychologists. Well, right now in the hub, there's Black psychologists. So we're going to keep populating. The other thing, I don't know if it was clear, it's a national organization. We are a national organization. Resources could come from Nunavut, Yukon, Northwest Territories, Victoria Island, all the way to Newfoundland and where the Icelanders landed, all the way up there. We are Canadian focused resources. People that have resources that are outside of Canada are all welcome. If it's like resources and how to do something, and if it's related to Canadian ideas, then yes. So Knowledge Hub, definitely. Knowledge Catalogue. So I think, Kaminda, we could say our good nights, but I do see, and for those that find it difficult to watch and read the chat like me, Kaminda, you think you can read out some of the congratulations or some of the comments?
Absolutely.
I love the one from Juliet, says, thank you all for this. Love in action. I love that. Ashay team. Thanks for modeling this, an era. Pretty fascinating, cool work. And somebody else said they know that word from Ashay in Jamaica. Well, yes, because a good part of Jamaicans are Nigerian and Yoruba, especially if you're maroon. So these languages across the board, they carry over the ocean. All
And
you,
yeah, we have some congratulations. Congratulations to all who worked so hard to make this happen. I see and appreciate you. Thank you for recognizing us. People are loving it and looking forward to seeing it grow. Thank you so much. And people are also appreciating the openness, initiative, and efforts that we are leading. Thank you so much for appreciating us. We appreciate you right back. Thank you for being here.
just noticed there's a Black tutors group here interested. So I'm interested in partnership opportunities as well at the Black Tutors Canada. Please register yourself as a business and then connect with us. We definitely want to see you, and we'd love to promote that across Canada if you do virtual as well. It's so much easier to educate children when they're not having to deal with anti-Black racism or ableism.
Thank you so much, Liz, and thank you so much, everybody, for your comments. Again, we've shared our email. It's blackhub, BLACKHUB @ashecommunityfoundation.com if you'd like to get in touch about being on the hub or any further partnerships. And the link to the hub is also in the chat. So we look forward to connecting with everybody after.
Oh, Linda, we just said goodbye and I remembered something. If you are Black and have a disability and you want to be a part of our platform, our nationwide coalition, please connect with us through the same email. We're going to do ERA, you mentioned this as well, so we're happy to support a Black entrepreneurship platform. I'm a Black entrepreneur with disabilities too, so apparently there's a lot of us, yay. And so we're going to be doing that. If you're interested in the student work, and the last thing to say is we are currently hiring. I didn't see the slide of hiring, but we are currently hiring a full-time with benefits. Senior manager to basically take the reins and really shape Ashe. We're hiring an administrative and events coordinator, full-time, 3 years with benefits. We have student positions that will be up on our website very soon. And we always are interested in volunteers, internships, and of course, as we keep saying, partnerships. Thank you, Era. I know you're leaving for London tomorrow.
Thank you. Yes, thank you guys. It's been very pleasure. Actually, I'm in Europe, yeah, but it'd be great, great connecting with you guys today. And I look forward to keeping this momentum and movement going forward. Thank you.
Bye, everyone. Bye, everyone.
Thank you so much for coming. And could the interpreters and Era just stay on back for 1 second if possible? Bye, folks. Ashe.
Ashe.
Yeah, we still have a few attendees here. That is okay.
We have Victor. Hi, Victor.
Victor, Mandy, and some other folks.
Jillian.
I just want to take a screenshot because I know we always forget to take a screenshot when smiling. So if folks are ready, I'll just do one quickly. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Awesome. Thank you so much. Actually, I'll pass it to Kaminda.
Oh, yeah. Thanks, Nkem, and thank you, everybody. I think it went well, and we'll follow up, Era and Liz and Nkem, with our next steps. And Dean and Christy, I'll also follow up with you in a separate email. Thank you so much for your services this evening. Thank you for pivoting with us with our spotlight issues. Really appreciate your flexibility and for being supportive with letting us know. Thank you so much.
Glad to be here, Kaminda. Thanks for having us.
Thanks.
good
We'll see
night.
you again.
Take
We'll see
care,
you again.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.